our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? Won't you help to sing redemption song? Redemption. From mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look helplessly? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the food. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? All I ever had, redemption song. All I ever had, redemption song.
Right, my dear brothers
More
and
music at
sisters,
PraiseZion.com.
delighted I am this afternoon to officially give you a very big akwaba. You can see that I've been sandwiched by 4-5 powerful queens of our own. Together we were centuries ago, but for some reasons, a certain group of people came to our shops, our land, and decided to separate us using all kinds of machinations. Initially, they themselves did a raiding, kidnapping at the coast, but later they had to influence some of our leaders at the time to have the transatlantic slave trade come into being. I was born on Thursday. My name is Morgan Manson, museum educator at the Cape Coast Slave Dungeon. And I conduct people round to see our own ancestral land where some of our ancestors forcibly confined before they shipped them to the various destinations in Americas and the Caribbean communities for the cotton sugarcane plantation field. This is the third and the last slave dungeon in Ghana, and it was built by the English in 1664. Viewers, listeners, labor here by our own ancestral strength to construct the fort and castles of Ghana.
First was called
Elmina Castle, the first of its kind, 1482, under the leadership of Don Diego de Zambuja. Apparently, the Portuguese claimed they were exploring the west coast of Africa to Asia. Two, they were here as missionaries to teach us the Bible, a way to God Almighty, in a rightful way according to them. And then the next day to buy gold. So subsequently they named our land Gold Coast, following the abundance of gold they found on our land. When they were constructing the Elimina dungeons, again they used the strength of our ancestors. Surprisingly enough, they never had their first commercial human cargo from Elimina Township. Rather, they had them from present-day Togo, Benin, Nigeria. So they named that section Slave Coast. So for Portuguese, they had the Ivory Coast, Gold Coast, and then the Slave Coast. And as I said, later they had to engage some of our leaders at the time because the Europeans didn't know the interior part of the country, and then the middle belt, i.e. Kumasi, Sunyani, Wenchi, and the rest. So they had to train some of our people, supply them the ammunition to intensify tribal wars. Brothers and sisters, the Ghanaian hospitality is second to none in the whole worldwide. Our hospitable nature, so kind we are, our magnanimity also was as a result of this unthinkable activity that happened on our shores centuries ago. We received the Europeans warmly, welcomed them, gave them a place to stay, and in the end, we ended up in the slave dungeons because they had entrusted in us the strength of the African to do hard work for them in Americas and the Caribbean communities. So they supplied some of our leaders with ammunition, the gunpowder, to intensify tribal wars, ethnic conflicts. And our brothers mostly brought from the northern part of the country, including Burkina Faso of today, Tamale, Yendi, Sisala, Salaga, the biggest and largest slave market at the time. Through the middle belt, those who got to ASSIN, so as Nana said, a very beautiful river where they had their last shower and never showered again. So depending upon the company that you belong, from ASSIN, so either they move you to Elimina slave dungeon or the Cape Coast slave dungeon. And then they were examining your strength here, your teeth before they were exchanging you for fabrics, the mirror, the gunpowder, and then they branded them with hot iron metals, indicating ownership of the company or the buyer. Thereafter, they separated them. Our fathers were held here, and surprisingly enough, right above the dungeon was also a church. And they call it Society for the Propagation of the Gospel, SPG. And Methodist Church of Ghana started at where we have this tricycle stationed. Roman Catholic Church of Ghana, Elimina slave dungeon is started. And Presby Church of Ghana, the slave dungeon in Accra. So basically, castles in Ghana are three: Elimina, Accra, and Cape Coast. But this one, before the English had it, they had to overcome the Dutch. Dutch fought Danes, Danes fought Swedish, Swedish occupied an abandoned land here by the Portuguese when they named the area Cabo Corso, to wit Short Cape. So it was the English who took time, used the strength of our ancestors, and developed the Swedish Fort Karlsborg into a status of a castle. And they were all designated World Heritage Site according to UNESCO in 1979. And then also until Accra became the capital of Gold Coast, Ghana today, it was one time Cape Coast and the seat of governance right in this very facility. It was due to political and economic expediencies that the governor at the time, Sir Sanford Philip, decided to move the capital seat from this castle to Accra Castle. Now we have the Jubilee House or the Flagstaff House. So thousands to millions of human resources were kept in this dungeon before they shipped them to the Americas and the Caribbean communities, the North, South Carolinas, Virginia, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Haiti, Jamaica, and the rest, just to work harder for the Europeans. Unfortunately, the slave trade officially ended in Cape Coast Castle around 1833, after chattel slavery ended in the Caribbean community. Originally, they said they had abolished slave trade in 1807, but it didn't stop until 1833. The Dutch were the last group to stop the transatlantic slave trade in Elmina Castle on the 6th of April, 1872. So we were not lazy, as they always say. We don't live on trees, as they always tell people. Right? When they tell you that, you can simply tell them their embassy, the High Commissioner, lives on the tallest tree on our soil. From the Cape Coast Castle, this is Echo Morgan Mensah reporting. Good afternoon.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say they ended the transatlantic slave trade because they had the millions of us already over there in America, in Jamaica, in Cuba, in the Caribbean. So a lot of our ancestors were resisting and they were rebelling, and a lot of them even started right here in this castle. So if they rebelled, if they were stubborn, as they say they were stubborn, They would be executed and thrown in the cistern and thrown in the ocean right from this castle. So when they ended the transatlantic slave trade, it was not because they wanted to, per se, it was because they needed to, because we had so many people who were resisting. And they had enough of us over there to continue the inhumane and dehumanizing manner of which they had turned us into enslaved beings. The worst slavery in the world was happening right here in Africa. It did not happen in Israel during the time of Moses when they left Egypt. No, that was light compared to what we suffered here, which they face mentally, spiritually, and physically. I am here with these sisters, these queens. We have Queen Esther. Please raise your hand. She is a returnee, and she lives here in Ghana, in the Almina area. Then we have Queen Zakia. She is here. She is a queen mother, as same as me, ANKOBIAHENE. Then we have Sister Cicely, like Cicely Tyson. We have her here, and we are about to go into the shrine and pour libation with the traditional priests for our ancestors who suffered in these dungeons and in this place of horror. And we're going to pour a libation, and then we're going to come out, and then you're going to get the history of the slave castle and dungeons. We're going to pour libation, then we're going to come out, then you're going to get the history, and then we're going to go into the reenactment of what our ancestors went through 500 years ago, and the suffering that we have put upon each other because of the trauma and the scars. So I do this today because my people in New York City, in Brooklyn, they are in Coney Island. And for the 35th year, every year we gather at Coney Island, rain or shine. And we play drums and we give offerings to our ancestors of the Middle Passage, those who perished and those who made it. And again, those of us who are the descendants of those who perished, those who made it, and those of us who return. I am a returnee. I am a nana of a village in KRUWA National Park. It is called ASSIN KRUWA. It is above Danku and Su. Danku and Su is the slave river. It's the last river that our ancestors had to bathe in fresh water of their home before they came to these castles. So we are going into the dungeon at the shrine with the traditional piece. So please come with us as we pay homage to those ancestors of the Middle Passage, and we have our traditional priests pour libation and remember those who perished, who survived, and who returned. We'll be right back. Thank you. This father, this priest. Priest, I wear. Where do you go? Does Papa have everything he needs, the gin and everything? Did he get it? Yeah. Huh? All right. Yo, that's why.
Okay, very miss Madam why. One will look on.
Dada, we are listening.
Akwaba.
Yo, Machi.
Maya wine. Moon Fukano. Ebayam Bible. Yada Chay and Anum. Anu one Ufia or Cray. Adebayam Bible, Manesi.
He said he's going to pray for our ancestors now and pour libation.
Abo!
Amen.
Abo!
Amen.
Abo!
Amen.
Abo!
Amen.
Oh, I don't know Papa. I want to boss your boss as well as it. May come up and you come up. No one is home where I come. Oh, I think you go such a man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not always home.
Yeah.
Never go some.
Yeah.
Never some.
Yeah.
A child is home.
Yeah.
If we have a small son, absolute dream, how much is a man?
Yeah.
A walk of my folk was in.
Yeah.
Second, when an enemy, a hundred will go away and pray. Waba, what bachelor, you would day. I have lawful. What's the sin? What are they? Why are the ginger? Here be, yes, some papa, as more wabe. You be a no cotton, papa home. My baby, Musu Abbas and Pokemon. Atafa Brasema, every team. Ugwamem, and again a mema, everybody around the bucket at obey. Wokutia, not our Pokemon. Opena in the bed, we are one cotton, Papa home.
That's
Yes, Papa. Oh, yeah, the doom. Obeying Chilum Kakra, Pen of Obey, Chilum, fetch her. Yen enemy.
Okay, so
you can translate.
yeah.
You can translate what you just said for everyone, please, in English.
Okay, so please can you do it or I should?
You can thank you.
Okay, catch your man wabe. Ya pare, mana asino go kakra, no you to pay na sana.
What did I say?
I buy man. What's next is a way? No, chum for
They
you.
want us to
Okay,
sit
so
Hima and see what's the gun when we see the word of court again and son. A basan, not a abbey, then a man, one blah. What did what a chain? It's the more one of a chair, the man I didn't say.
okay, so in our tradition, like before you can sit on it unless a chief priest hold you and sit on it for 3 times.
Yeah, I say 3 times. I remember.
Oima, Aquaba. Aquaba.
That's it.
Aquaba.
That's
it. He naturally. There and anum, what the chain. Aquaba. 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 Yena nanom aza wachire de yankasa ebibifo no ene ye waza a chire de ye wo ahene wo wa mo mansana abrofo worba waba dadayen wozi wa abrofo sam na wozi wa bible na wozi dadayen nsiyen ya za chire ana wo fan sesogwa ya mamudi ya bosha ayuba nti igwe emanu konfo aba igwe mema de megwe na atsebu tema da mama ne ya wase
Translate.
chilem
Okay. So,
masi sesogwe echire apara Open Ezikan mpe funu oka wa asem de Adetutu enyoma oyi chire enyoma iyi na ache abakwasam ye na nanu mo de chire hen nti wa be ya ze ye na nanu mo ansa yana nanu abla washasin abofo men na wuyisi nsefu wa from pamwan nsi anu yaza yisi de chire from African Americans yana nanu wo mfi akure no wasafan de ni yisi shinap abofo wo de shinap na bible na wo de badada yan nti yana nanu yaza no anu yaza yisi nti wa be bugu anado chirem so from be from nsen se ka wana nanu wezi weyin wa be ayi ma fu gbe ya bia no nkodo papa ho ya mo nsase yin basi aba fu wanje o na bono fu so wanje nko pa shi yes ampa chilem
so, like my
yeah
okay, so
here he has poured libation for our ancestors, for the remembrance of them. He has honored us and has poured libation in front of our feet because we have followed the path of our ancestors. And we were taken away many years and eons and centuries ago, but we have returned. And he has blessed us to sit on the stools as the queens that our mothers, our grandmothers were before they became enslaved, before they were thrown into the dungeons, before they were thrown in the bowels of the ships and forced to go across the great Atlantic Ocean to meet their fate on the auction block again. And to work in the plantations, to be denied of rights that we are still fighting for this day. I am honored and I have honored them, and that all those millions who could not return, you have blessed their spirit to know that they will walk with me, they will walk with Zakia, they will walk with Queen Esther, and everyone who is in here. We have millions of ancestors. Our DNA is so strong and is so long that it can go from the sun to Pluto 17 times. That's how much the science is about our melanin, about our story, not his story, about her story, about our story. And we are honored to be here to do this today. For those of you who have never come to the dungeons, all of you who take vacations to the Dominican Republic, to Jamaica, Dominica or Brazil or wherever you go, this is the place you must once in your life come. Once bring your children here so that they know what happened to us, and we also will never ever forget, and we cannot forgive until we have redemption. And that means reparations. That means repairing us. That means giving us everything that we need, whether we're in America, Jamaica, Cuba, anywhere in the Caribbean, Trinidad, Tobago, or Brazil, until we get equity in everything. Equity in housing, equity in education, equity in social services, equity amongst our people in every single way of which you stole from us and our humanity. Until you give us reparations, you shall not have peace. And there will be no peace until all of us, or many of us, come back here, touch this, and carry those ancestors from that DNA from the planet of the sun, the center of our universe, and go back to all the way to the last planet they call Pluto and back 17 times. This is our commitment. This is my commitment as Nana ATTANKUM, the first of ASSIN KRUWA, all the way up in the mountains of Kakun Park, above Central Region, above Danku and Su of the Slave River, until we get reparations, until you redeem yourself from the Holocaust, from the horror, and you give us the equity, and you give us the equal rights and justice.
For inviting your sister to join you on the spiritual journey today. We all know where we are. This is where some of our ancestors saw their last days. This is where our ancestors were carted off, treated worse than animals. And it is an honor to be here today. I know many of you do not want to come to this place, and I understand it. It's just the energy here. But we have this divine priest here who's always, he's a custodian of this place, helping our ancestors move on, because they are here. They're still here. After all the years, they're still here. So I hope you all come out and join us and see this place for yourself, see all of Ghana, Africa for yourself. You have to make that migration and come back home.
It's beautiful.
I'd like to say Madasi for welcoming us and clearing the way and saluting our ancestors. For us, it is our culture. Many of us know the atrocities that happened to us when we left Africa. Those who came through the last bath, many did not survive. Those who came through these dungeons, many did not survive. Those who crossed the Middle Passage, many did not survive. Those who went to America did not survive, but we survived. And we are the returnees. And we are repatriated to our mother. And at this time we wake up our people everywhere. Africa is one. And at this time the mother says we will no longer go through what we have gone through with our eyes closed, because now our eyes are open. We are the strength that have returned to our mother. And now is the time for us to unite as Africans everywhere. As our beloved Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said, one nation, one Africa, one people. We have returned to this place. We ask and we give thanks for our protection and our guidance, and we are moving forward. We invite you to move forward with us. Thank you, Nana. Thank you also, Nana. Thank you all of us for being witnesses. And thank you all for giving us this opportunity. We are just getting started again, and we are so grateful. Nyami Bechele. Madasipa.
Would you like to say something, Sade?
Well, I'd like to say back in 1973, I was here in the slave castle, and I recall the shackles on the arm and the leg and the trough in the middle. And I remember thinking, standing in the room, and I saw that little window, I remember thinking that if someone had put me in this room in 1973 when I would not make it. But then I remembered that my ancestors had to be the strong of the strong of the strong to survive that trip to the Americas. And I just want to say thank you to my ancestors because I know they survived because I'm living proof that they were here and survived. Thank you.
This is my big sister, and today is our mother's birthday. Thank you, Mother, for bringing
Sister
us.
Cecily?
I just want to say Madasipa.
Yes, and I just wanted to say that they took those shackles out of the walls. They tried to make it more softer for us.
Yes.
So they took the chains and the shackles off of the walls. I know that they were here in the 90s.
Yes.
And then I came back in 2001 and then everything was gone. They had even tried to whitewash these dungeons to make it look better. And then we, the returnees, Anana Amakus, Anana Okofu, we had Rabbi Kohen, we had Baba, Dr. Malana, of the Ministry of the Future. We fought them because they said you cannot make the blood of our ancestors, the wickedness that you've done, you cannot paint over it and try to make it pretty, try to make it more amenable, applicable, try to make it more softer, the trauma, because you can feel it. So I just wanted to say that because y'all are like, look at all, it's just walls. No, there were troughs. They didn't even give us a glass. They didn't give us a calabash. It was troughs. Like the horses, when you tie up your horses in the Old West and there's nothing but this rectangular trough there. And that's what they brought in to our ancestors to drink. They were starved. They was not eating proper. The women were raped, okay, right on the wall as they was chained. The pirates would come in, pull their dresses up, put their ding dong inside our mothers, and as they went across the ocean, some of them carried the seeds of them same wicked people. And that anyone who resisted, anyone who was stubborn, they tortured them. They threw them in the cisterns, and then they threw them over this wall into the oceans. And that is what our ancestors suffered, and that is why I brought this ceremony today so that my ancestors are living ascendants in Coney Island, wherever you are, because we got people in Jamaica, we got people in Cuba, we got people all over celebrating every second Saturday in June for the ancestors of the Middle Passage, giving homage to them, giving love to them, letting them know they are not forgotten. So I just want to say, Madasipa, we're going to go out and then we're going to start with the reenactment. Thank you so much. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, Nana, for making sure that anytime and every time, those who were stuck here, because there were millions of us, millions. Thank you for freeing their soul, Nana. Thank you for pouring libation, because every time you do it, one spirit or soul leaves out. And they cried, cried. I give thanks and praises. We're gonna walk out now. Thank you. lives. They are the great mothers. We have Mother Wisdom over here. This is Mother Wisdom, ancient wisdom of the mother. I also brought Sacagawea. She's Native American princess. She's the one who helped Lois and Clark discover the western part of America. Because when they brought us here as slaves, they also annihilated and did genocide amongst the Native Americans in their original land. So that is why I brought Sacagawea. Then we have Makita, who was a queen and is a queen, and remind us of our royalty. So I brought the great mothers today. These baskets, I'm going to get into a boat later on, and I'm going to go out past the Cape Coast dungeon. I'm going to give this to Mama Waters, to Yemaya, to Olukum, and to those ancestors of which we lost. These baskets represent the father, the mother, the children. These baskets represent the past, the present, the future. And that is what we're going to do. In about 3 minutes, we're going to start the cultural program, and you will see the reenactment of what our ancestors suffered. So stay tuned. We are here. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Baba, Ade. Oh, thank you, Baba Ifakunle, Adetutu. Thank you, Baba Tunde, I am Femi, Odun Beme, for the prayers that I'm going to say later. So we just say thank you, thank you, thank you.
I am reading from Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, which says, in the beginning, God, Jah, Most High, created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth proved to be formless and waste, and there was darkness upon the surface of the watery deep. And God's active force was moving to and fro over the surface of the waters. And God proceeded to say, let light come to be. Then there came to be light, which was good. And God brought a division between the light and the darkness. And God began calling the light day, but the darkness be called night. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, a first day.
Ashe. This tragedy has happened upon us is because it came from a pataki that came out of the Yoruba tradition. And it says that they were falsely accusing a man or a woman who was innocent of any crime. After a long time, the revenger would take vengeance on those who accused an innocent person falsely. This was divined by Ola Bisipio, one who has lots of honor. When the people of the world were looking at Osepicio as a very cruel person, he was asked to sacrifice so that his enemies may be caught by the forces of land and earth. May our misfortune of poverty and false accusations be reversed, and the greatness of our destinies be restored. Truth and peace are brothers. You can't see one without the other. And then I will read Jeremiah 30 and 50. Mapato. Thank you, sister. Ashe. Book of the Holy Bible that was stolen from our people, yet there is still truth within it. And it must occur in that day is the utterance of the God of armies, that I shall break one's yoke from your neck, and your bands I shall tear in two. And no more will strangers exploit you as a servant. And they will certainly serve their Creator, their God, and David their King, who I shall raise up for them. Jeremiah chapter 30, verses 18 to 22. This is what the Lord has said. Here I am gathering the captive ones of the tents of Jacob, and for their tabernacles I shall have pity. And the city shall actually be rebuilt upon her dwelling itself on the mound, and upon its rightful site the dwelling tower itself will sit. And from them there will certainly go forth thanksgiving, and the sound of those are laughing. And I will multiply them, and they will not become few. And I will make them heavy in number, and they will not become insignificant. And their sons and their daughters must become as in former times. As before, their own assembly will be firmly established. And I will turn my attention upon their oppressors. And his majestic one will certainly come to be from him, and from the midst of them his own rulers shall go forth. And I shall cause them to come near, and they must approach me, the God. For now, who is there the one who has given their heart in pledge in order to approach me? Is the utterance of God. And you will certainly become my people, and I myself shall become your God. Jeremiah 31, verses 7. For this is what thy God said. Cry out loudly to Jacob with rejoicing, and cry shrilly at the head of nations. Give praise and say, save. Publish it. Give praise and say, save, O Lord, our people, the remnant of Israel. Here I am bringing them from the land of the north, and I will collect them together, and the remote parts of the earth. Among them will be the blind, the lame, the pregnant women, and the one giving birth. They will return here with weeping. They will come, and with their entreaties for favor I shall bring them. And I shall read Psalms. When the Lord gathered back the captive ones of Zion, they became like those who were dreaming. At the time of their mouth came to be filled with laughter, and their tongue with joyful cry. And at the time they proceeded to say among nations, our God has done a great thing in what he has done for us. Our God has done a great thing in what he has done with us. We have become joyful. Do gather back, O Lord, our company of captives, like the stream beds of Nebi. Those sowing seeds with tears will reap even with a joyful cry. The one without fail goes forth, even weeping, carrying along a bag full of seed, will without fail come in with a joyful cry, carrying along their sheaves. This is where we get the song By the Waters of Babylon. It's Psalms 137. By the waters of Babylon, there we sat down, where we also wept when we remember Zion. Upon the poplar trees in the midst of her, we hung our hearts for those holding us captive. Ask us for the words of a song, and those marking us for rejoicing. Sing for us of the songs of your Zion? How can we sing the songs of our Zion upon a foreign land? If I should forget you, O Jerusalem, let my right hand be forgetful. Let my tongue stick back to my palate. If I were to not remember you, if I were not to make Jerusalem ascend above the chief cause of rejoicing. Remember the Lord regarding the sons of Edom, the days of Israel and Jerusalem. We are saying, lay it bare to the foundation within. By the waters of Babylon, where we sat down, and there we wept when we remember Zion. Oh, the wicked carried us away in captivity, required of us a song. How can we sing our sacred song in a strange, strange land? We cried, cried, cried. We cried, cried, cried. We cried, cried, cried when we remember Zion. Oh, the wicked carried us away in captivity, required of us a song. How can we sing our holy songs in this strange, strange land? Oh, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight forever. So let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight forever. Oh, the wicked carried us away in captivity, required of us a song. How can we sing our holy songs in a strange, strange land? We cried, cried, cried. We cried, cried, cried. We did not die. We multiplied. So let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable wherever we are forever. We cried, cried, cried. We cried, cried, cried. We cried, cried, cried. We did not die. We multiplied. We multiplied. We multiplied. We stand today. Thank you.
Yes, I will.
Taurus. That's why we're having a little technical difficulties. But I just wanted to say that this is the separation of which our ancestors went through, and we should not be putting upon each other the same cruelty that was put upon us. We must stop black on black crime, if that's what you want to call it. We should stop the mental madness that it makes us have disunity. We should start together and be as one people with one mind, one people, one aim, one destiny.
Oh my God, oh my God, when shall I see my home? When shall I see my nephew land? I will never forget my home. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, when shall I see my home? When shall I see my nephew land? I will never forget my home. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, when shall I see my home? When shall I see my nephew land? I will never forget my home.
Down, press a man, where you gonna run to? Down, press a man, where you gonna run to? Down, press a man, where you gonna run to? All along that day. You gonna run to the sea, but the sea will be boiling when you run to the sea. The sea will be boiling when you run to the sea. The sea will be boiling all along that day. to be a flea. Under your collar, man, I wouldn't like to be a flea. Under your collar, man, I wouldn't like to be a flea. Under your collar, all along that day. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. Telling you all along that day. You're gonna run to the Lord, begging him to hide you. You're gonna run to the Lord, begging him to hide you. You're gonna run to Jah, begging him to hide you. All along the day. And I said, down, press a man. Where you gonna run to? Where you gonna run to? Down, press a man. Where you gonna run to? I said, all along that. Down, press a man. Down, press a man. Down, press a man. Down, press a man. Where? Down, press a man. Where you gonna run to? Down, press a man. I don't know where you gonna run to. All along that day, down, press a man. You can't run, you can't bribe, Jaja. Can't call him in a bar. We gon' drink some devil soup. Can't bribe him around the corner. Can't test him fate. Down, press a man. Lord, down, press a man. I said, down, press a man. Don't run, down, press a man. Down, press a man. Where you gotta run to? Down, press a man. You can't bribe no one. Them no want no money. They run left money. Money get funny.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Igba o tentende o kojo kobieni ko be robieni ro ko wala ala wa mondo oro ala wa mondo jobi ebeji jo ìgbà tí ìwọ mọ́jọ́ tẹ̀ntẹ̀ndẹ̀ tẹ̀ntẹ̀ndẹ̀ o. Ìgbà ó mọ́jọ́ tẹ̀ntẹ̀ndẹ̀ tẹ̀ntẹ̀ndẹ̀ o. Kojo kobieni ko be robieni ro ko wala ala wa mondo oro ala wa monjo do jobi ebeji jo ìgbà tí ìwọ monjo tẹ̀ntẹ̀ndẹ̀ This is the invocation song or invocation to wake up the ancestors.
lateness, but this is Africa. We had rain 3 times before we even started, and we prayed hard that it would stop raining. So this is Musa Ali and the great Black culture group of Almina. So he will give your name, your number.
Okay, my name is Musa Ali, and this group is called BTK Culture Troop. So you can locate us on TikTok and then Facebook only. And then our number is simple: 0547 09 7775. 0547 09 7775. You can contact us anything.
Weddings, funerals, anything.
Yeah, classes, if you want to learn how to dance,
classes,
drumming
classes,
traditional music.
Hey,
even if you need powers, we are there for you. Yeah. If you have a school outside there, you can call us, contact us. Even one person can come there and then teach you how to do everything. Thank you.
So we want to thank the museum directors. Thank you very much. We want to thank the ancestors. I want to thank Queen Esther. I want to thank Vida, ASSIN, my daughter, and my son, Peter Adanku. I want to thank the assemblyman in my area, and his name is Bredu. And we want to thank Brady, and we want to thank the minister and Tim. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. I want to thank God. I want to thank my ancestors, my own ancestors, the ancestors who left here, and those of us who returned. Victory, victory. As I say always, one God, one aim, one destiny, one people, one Africa.
Victory!
Victory! Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yo.
And we also need board members and then sponsors. So if you are ready, come and be part of us, and we will work together. Thank you.
Ashe.